Everybody with me got their own parachute. You ain't scared of heights when you sipping on booze. Party all night like I'm flying jet blue. You ain't never seen nobody get this loose. Shawty acting naughty with the body, what it do? Jump with this man, bump to this man, stomp to this man, crump to this man. Got another hit man. Hold up, I wanna go up, don't wanna throw up. My click pull up and every bad chick know us. Dance, the boy got us all really high. Master shawty on my ass roll nine. I rollin' baby like I'm chocolate on pie. Super Bowl pimp, good year on top. Could I be a bird? I gotta be fly, butterfly and spur, and I gotta come over.